Hello and welcome to this video where we're going to take this model, separate them from the background, create properly mask, and after using backdrop and implement the model, compositing model with our background where we created inside the view, and apply all additional effect to create this cyberpunk themed kind of look. So let's go ahead and start working on this project. Because of this video is more focusing how to compositing inside of Photoshop, I won't go into details about how 3D was done, just overall overview what was done to create the background and the steps it took it. So the model that was using, I was purchased this model that does 3D and it's from Stone Mountain Urban Future 5. And you can see from preview it's already have a very nice theme, everything. But one thing notice, it is compatible software with DAZ Studio 4.12 or DAZ Studio. DAZ Studio does not have a direct plugin with the Vue and Vue render application. I use it for environmental rendering to create a background. So for me, I need to export from DAZ Studio, export as OBJ format, and after import inside the Vue. And the problem with these materials need to be reset and save it, so they're not PBR, they're just basic materials. So it's meaning after on this model I need to go inside and it's have about 715 different materials. I need to go through each of them and work to set them up properly. What I mean by set up, example, if we're going with the lights, let's go right here, select one of material, and we'll go with a light. The light have it glowing properties like cyan, maybe neon lights. So it's meaning I need to go inside the material editor, going with the effects and set luminosity to 100%, maybe work with diffusion ambient light. In some cases, need of course work with the highlights and if needed with override colors in some cases. Some of course materials require less more. You also can do global way, but overall just let you know it's materials, so need be adjust as well. For example, I want to create kind of, let me increase right here preview, and you can see in preview I want to create some rainy look. So I was set up also some materials, add the reflection to them, for example ground, so it will create for me an easier to use with proper reflection like rainy things if I want to do. After model was imported, work with materials, time to set up lights, and you can see right here I set up a bunch of quadratic lights. The properties set with the volumetric light is enabled, and depend how I want to play with lights, the different colors was applied. Couple tips you can see, sometimes you can play with the lights where you want to put an accent, but mainly for me I want to work with a little bit bluish purplish colors. This is mostly my kind of combination was. I did add some cyan in cases, but we always can rework after in post-processing on this. Again, this is just overview what was done. And of course the render was done in with resolution about 6000 by 8000 pixels. It's quite a bit high resolution. On the image, I just want to be sure it's play around. And important things, when we save this image, we will save as Photoshop PSD format, as well we save as high dynamic range HDR resolution. And the reason is, I'll show you in a second, because right here you can see this is what's straight out, but it's got more information on the texture and everything. And I want to bring those texture a little bit more out from our image to use. And to process HDR after save, I was using Photomatix Pro. It's a little bit older, but still work fine. And you just take your HDR file that save inside the Vue, import, and when we'll go to tone mapping, you can see how much compare this with the existing. You can see we still have a nice fog, but right here we have it more details, texturing coming up. So, and I like this better. So it is same preset, set my settings, apply it on HDR, and add a little bit more sharpness afterwards, and save it as well. So we'll just like right here, add sharpness. Actually, it's highlights, so let's go to our sharpness tag. We'll add, and let me adjust this one maybe a little bit on a curve. We don't need color, sharpness, pop up. So right here is our image. Again, we can 15% quite a bit large and save it. But notice before save, some elements like right here we have it quite a bit black. We don't need this. It's why next step, work with the background. It's take those two images from Photoshop format and also TFF HDR, and that's what we do. We'll just open existing files. We'll take another one that we process it and save as TFF. And we can also just take this file layer, just go and drop on top. Okay, repositioning, and right here we have our two images. Of course, in some areas I want to add a little bit smoothness. We'll just go with HDR, create black mask, and we'll use it our soft round brush, maybe about 10% opacity. Let's increase with the white color, and we can start brushing in some of those details where we want them in. So that way we still, like for example, I want to keep it a little bit on a background, leave it foggy, but foreground we'll adjust a little bit more. Let's go set with 20%. I think with this grungy kind of look a little bit better. And besides, it's add a little bit more reflection kind of looking. But again, background, I don't want necessarily touch that one. Leave it in, like right here, those buildings, we can always go leave it a little bit more foggy look around there. Kind of give it this dimension. So this way I can play with my settings. And overall, this is how our basic background was created. Of course, we'll add some additional elements, but overall, the process. Again, model. I do like from Stone Mansion on a DAZ Studio. He have a very good collections, and many times you can find it is on sale. So don't just, you can buy it or wait till it's on sale. Overall, you can see he have a very nice, very large collection of the elements or scenery. His texture is very good, so I highly recommend if you need to use it 3D for your extensions on this case. One only with drag, I'll say you need to know DAZ Studio and export if you want to use it on another application. So let's go ahead and in next video start working more with the models and other. Right here we have different photos from photo shoot with Mary, and it was from beginning was thinking about some cyberpunk kind of themed photo shoot. Overall, we have multiple different photos. Couple things where I was one photo shoot, you'll notice we have a photo deox right here modifier that's going. Couple tips when we photo shoot, I was looking also for reflections, primarily in a right area, because if you look on some, we have it too high and the face start hiding. So when we photo shoot, that says rotate just slightly umbrella till we achieve right. We still have some highlights, but we can see through. Also, some options go look through different poses. Which one work I found for me personally, this was work interesting. It's have some little bit more character to this, and lines was going look nice. Also, if you notice, it's settings on a photo shooting. Okay, let's go ahead, pop up just a little bit up so we can preview here. And it was ISO 100. I always try to shoot 100 ISO. My aperture and settings, it was 1740 millimeters. So again, I want a little bit this distortion, kind of make a little bit unusual. And we was using, usually I have it aperture quite a bit high. So right here you can see it was 18. So my aperture was very small. It's giving me more sharp edges. Overall, I found out, for example, when Photoshop for the compositing, you can always add blur to the edges after in Photoshop, but it's much harder to bring sharpness if you don't have it. So I usually shoot with very high aperture, large number, smaller opening on aperture to achieve this effect. Again, the shutter speed 125, it's for the studio lighting. Also, the background, you'll notice it is somewhat gray, and it's for a reason. Actually, it is a white background. I just don't give it any lights or highlight on this, and it will go with fallout light, look like a gray kind of coloring on a background. This way, it's provide neutral, because many times when we use it in Photoshop, we will use it soft light overlay or some other contrast mode, and a 50% gray, it's about transparent with one effect by the coloring or by the luminosity. So in this case, I prefer to do with a gray color. So right here we have our image one selected. We'll go ahead and open in Camera Raw. Okay, we won't do too much processing in Camera Raw because we process after. We'll go inside the lens correction, and I want to just remove chromatic abbreviations on the edges. Sometimes I do enable profile, but I don't know if it will work nice or not this time, so I will just disable. We're also going inside now basic, and I want to take these highlights and bring them down. Problem is, if we take too much, you can see her face start losing highlights, which is okay, but we are recovering some of those highlights on umbrella. So we'll just bring highlights down, shadows just a little bit up, maybe about 3. Now we can go inside the luminosity, and to restore some of those highlights on the face, we'll take orange and bring a little bit up. So it restores some luminosity on a skin tone, but at the same time on a whites bring down. Okay, next let's go in sharpening, and I want to restore maybe about 70. Because this is all shot on Canon 5D Mark III. Canon have it inside the anti-aliasing filter enable. So to restore some original sharpness, I found out about between 60-80, it's about safe zone to set up. Okay, also next things, I'm doing with a 16-bit depth in Adobe RGB color space. Color space, it's not that as important. You can do with sRGB, it's fine. However, I found out for the fringing or those, steps that creating ingredients, 16-bit work better. So we'll go OK, and you always can change by going down below. And just click on this, that will open your settings. When we're done, I won't open as a smart object. Just click open image, and it will open inside the Photoshop our image. First things what I'm going to do is create duplicate of our background, and now we're going to use just our pen tool. Okay, let's zoom in, and with pen tool we'll just go around and just go around our object. With pen tool, I like it to provide our sharp edges, and because we'll go combine, because it's semi-transparency, so we'll need kind of play with this as well. With pen tool, it's easy, just go along the line. When it starts curving, click and start dragging. You see the handles is extended, you can see the handles, and just be sure your handle follow the curve slightly, so till you're there, click again, follow the curve, and you can see how it start just following our settings. Okay, Control Z if you accidentally click on wrong place. Usually I want to do this about 1 pixels inside, so we don't lose too much information, but I want to have it don't grab any background. Again, because we shot on a gray screen, it should be fine. And we'll just go around overall. I'm going to pause tutorial, just going around all of places right there inside shoelaces, so we'll go cut this, cut inside. Right here, actually, we don't need cut because we have a code going over. But let's, I'm going to pause, go over and resume tutorial when it's done with cutting. Okay, when we're done with pen, we'll just right click usually and you select create vector mask, and we already created our vector mask. So right here we can preview our vector mask. Okay, before after, so we can preview right with March again. So you can see we created our mask. Okay, next what I want to do it is add some masking inside, and you can see it's a gray color. Even our mask kind of going around shoelaces, all that stuff. Right here we still have it semi-transparency, and that semi-transparency can be very interesting. What we need to do, notice it's also somewhat blurring out, so we need to duplicate that in our compositing. For this one we'll go to use it raster. So this is a vector mask. Next we're going to use raster, and we'll go to select color range. Okay, and we'll just go click in umbrella with approximately gray color. You can always play a little bit with how fuzziness you want it on a gray, or we can just bring a little bit down, hold down, and just click, you know, add additional colors by holding down shift. We want what's semi-transparent, we don't want all the way. Mostly I want to have those lines up. We'll come back to this umbrella or code, so don't worry, we won't lose them. But for now we just want also select the figurine as well. So we'll come back to that outline, so we'll have it actually two kind of models with umbrellas and separate. Okay, when we're done, we'll go ahead, click OK, and at this moment we can go ahead and create new mask. So let's hide this, and this is what we have our mask done. Again, if we look on our mask, it's not necessarily work as I wanted. For example, right here we start losing. For this we'll actually need to work a little bit more with the painting over in those elements. So we'll take our brush, we'll have it hard round edge. Okay, we'll set to the 100% white color opacity, and we can just mask out those elements. Same like, remember, right here we have the vector, so if we just remove this way, now our top is kind of solid. We can also just do inside going, but I don't want to do too much because I want protection on some of this. Like right there. We'll leave it maybe right inside here a little bit. Okay. Again, we will restore some of that elements back, so we're going overall. I just want to be sure this mask is set properly here. My most worried it's about face, and this is what I want. So with face, go like right here. Okay. Let's also take our sides. I don't worry about this black because vector mask you can actually just paint out if you need it. And don't worry too much about some of those elements. So right here we kind of created, again, we'll overlay with other ones. This is just giving us somewhat transparency to look and work with at this point. Okay, so let's go ahead, create new layer, and we'll go retouching on this. We'll select our healing brush tool. Let's go zoom in, and we have small things on the faces. We'll probably just go fix it, so we'll reduce amount of our brush. Alt simple sampling, and we'll just go over, remove some of this redness couple elements. Again, if we need it on an edge, like right here, we'll click on the edge, bring up, and just fix a little bit here. Let's go again, a little bit right there. Okay, if you want on an ear removing, oops, we don't need this one. We'll just sample. Remember, Alt, sample, and just move it. Just clean up a little bit on the skin. There's nothing wrong. It just remove some distraction and make it easy when we start smoothing out. And I think it's look about right. Okay, right here. I think that is about good. Okay, let's go a little closer on the hands. We always need to remember. And the hands is look actually okay. We still have it a little bit on the mask here. Always can jump back and just restore our hands a little bit. There you go. Like I said before, we don't need to really worry too much about this because we are going to restore some of this. Okay, let's zoom out. About here, I think. Okay, I think next, let me come zoom. Nope, that was about right. So okay. So next, let's work with a little bit dodge and burn. For this one, we'll go create another layer, and you know what? If you hold on Alt or Option key and you see the key, kind of arrow for clipping, or you can just right click and select the clipping this. So create clipping mask. So it will just mask to next. What is happening? It is whatever changes we applied, it will clip to our mask that we created. And it's very useful because when we start retouching, it will help us. Just in case if you're not familiar. So look, example, let's go to 0. For example, I'm going and I'm creating these lines, something like this. And if I set this as a clipping, you can see just will clip to our mask below. So this is goal what we want to do. We don't want to go out of mask. We want just clip it to this area. So I'm going to create a layer, and I will fill this layer with 50% gray, normal mode, opacity 100. So we'll go fill up, it's total gray, and we'll go to clip it. So you can see now it's total gray. Let's go name it dodge and burn. And at this point, we'll go convert this to our soft light. I want to use the actual soft brush for this. We'll start with black color, and we want our opacity at least 10%. I'm using mouse. You can use it different, like on pen, whatever you like it, but I just want to enhance some of those shadowing. We'll also overlay with the coloring. Take like white, add a little bit more. Some elements here, maybe. There you go. Just a little bit more emphasize. Darken some of those elements. On the hands also. Hands, let's make white a little bit. And I'm doing white on the pens because I know we'll need to have some reflection lights. And I want just them come up. Mask, let's do a little bit darker in this area. So it's very simple, dodge and burn. And you can see we add a little bit more dimensions. I don't want to apply any coloring or any other effect to this point because we'll go reuse. However, I want also want create additional background because I want the umbrella to be semi-transparent so we can use it for other things. So overall, we'll create two kind of smart objects. So this one, it will be our first smart object. Model 1. And we'll go create duplicate again from background. Okay, and we can take, let's just hide, and we'll take our mask that we did vector mask, and we'll just hold down Alt or Option key, click and drag and put it on our other one. And here we have it our with a gray color. So we have two of them, and we can take first model, right click, we'll say convert to smart object on this one, and our second one, I don't really worried about retouching on this because my first one will be overlay, this will be background, so I'm going to convert that smart object as well, and we'll go rename this to model 2. The reason we convert the both of them, you know, let's say this violet, so we'll know, and this one will be yellow. Smart object because that we can resize them. It's when we start dragging them and putting in our background that we're creating, we can resize them and don't worry about losing some resolution to do that. Okay, so I think we're kind of done with the preparing model right now. So next, let's go ahead and place them inside our scene. Okay, we have our two models prepared. So I'm going to select both of them and drag and drop them in our background. Because the depth is a little bit different, which is okay, we'll just keep it on same. And you notice how different size there. Command or Control T will bring our resize tool, and I just want scale up. Okay, so we'll go and place maybe around here. And I just want to be sure that kind of you can play a little bit more with positioning. Overall, I think around that area probably can be okay, maybe a little bit higher, somewhere around there. We can always change. So press Enter, and now they kind of place it. Remember, this is our kind of grayish behind, which we're going to rework. And we have it, our overall mask. Here's a problem. If we disable, we have it absolutely clear, but it's almost never clear. So what we want to do, it is simulating somewhat how the blurring happened behind. So for this, actually we go to uncheck everything except our two backgrounds, and we're going to use Control Shift Alt E or Command Option Alt E to combine all those backgrounds and create new. And we'll call this blur. So this will be our blur that will simulate passing through our umbrella. We'll go select model 2, not first, hold down Control or Command key and left click. You can see now we're selecting our mask. This is what we want to do. We want actually selecting element. Now our blur level is selected. We can go ahead and click select mask. So overall, if we preview, you can see this is what we should have it. We just mask it out. Okay, next what I want for this, I want to create this little bit blur effect. So it's meaning, and right now it's invisible, but I want that element somewhat reflect as it's going through umbrella and maybe background. So for this, we'll go be sure you select the right window, not a mask, but just where there's a background. And we're going to filter, blur, just simple Gaussian blur. Notice what's happening as we're blurring. We can have a very crazy blur, which we don't need it, but I want a little bit blur out, maybe around there, so you can see it's kind of start adding little bit blurring in those elements with umbrella. Of course, because our clipping mask, we don't overdo, but I don't think this is too much. Maybe just around 8, 9, and it's up to you how you want it, but that will give it us that's a little bit semi-transparent with her coat and other things. Of course, with the coat, it's a little bit dark, too light, so we cannot see it. We will need to shape or adjustment to do for that. Okay, so we're done with this. Let's go ahead and click OK. It's for the blurring. So now I want to add some on the transparency. So we can have it, our model selected, and we can always take a little bit down to create some of this effect. Of course, some of them I want a little bit more, some I want a bit less. So I will going and set right now transparency as I want it for my background. I could create a second model and just separate them if you want, if it's easy for you to do this way. Or maybe we're going to do. So let's go call this umbrella. Okay, we'll go with copy, and we'll call this coat. So we'll have a 2 on this case. We can just take umbrella and just worry only about transparency on umbrella. So we can bring maybe around right here. Okay. And on this case, we want to create mask. And for the mask, I'm just very roughly go select it around here and fill up with the black. So you can see it's only applied to umbrella. So same things we can do for the coat. In this case, I'm just looking only on a coat, and I see where do I think it's kind of somewhat transparent, but not too much, maybe around here. Only on this case, same, I'll go select area about umbrella and create it mask. By the way, if you hold on Alt or Option, click on a mask, it will create mask with a black color. So we'll just isolate it. And you can see this is just apply only to the coat. And actually right here I missed some small elements. So let's me go ahead, just very fast, grab 100% brush, and I just want to brush this off. There you go. Okay. So far what we created, it is some blurring, and you can see I apply blurring to our elements on a coat. And a beauty about this, because if I think it's some transparent, I can add more or less, but I want just kind of matching between arms here. So I want kind of match, and I think that is actually match very good. And so is our umbrella. We can also actually take umbrella, maybe even make it a little bit clearer. Back. Again, this is only applied to the back because it is our background. Okay, the next things what I want to do, it is apply some reflection on lighting on an umbrella itself, and it's that one will be a little bit more tricky because we actually need to create mask, another pen tool, but I don't want inside. I want just make reflection right around this area. So for this, we actually want to little bit mask around, and we want to create kind of interesting effect this way. So let's go ahead. We'll go above our model. We'll go create new layer. So let's go call it reflections. Okay. And we actually probably want to just copy and create from different. So we have a different ways we can do. We probably better find some elements that have reflection. Maybe for tutorials we can use it what we have already with lights here, or we can find some other ones reflective. So let me go ahead look. Okay, and actually for this, you know, I found something that I rendered before from different, for example, this one, and I will just go to use it levels very fast on this image, bring higher contrast and brightness. It really doesn't matter what we have as long as we have this bright effect. So we'll take this layer. Now we'll go drop on top. Let's just scale slightly down, something like that. Doesn't matter. We can, after replace it, actually this very easy. I just want to look on the techniques on this one. So we'll disable reflection. That will be our reflection. Okay. And let's, for example, switch this to the soft light. So look on the umbrella. This is, I want to add lights. And again, it's, I don't know if it's look very good. You know what? Maybe all what we need to do is create from our background. So let's go ahead, make it invisible. We'll go again right here, Control-Shift-Alt-E, Command-Shift, open. So we'll go and rename reflection. Yeah, we'll just use it same. This one go up. Okay, let's enable all of this. And then this reflection, we'll go to Edit, Transform, Flip horizontally, just something different. And we'll want this one go on our umbrella. So for this, when it's selected, you'll notice I'll go select my pen tool. And I'm actually going to around this area right here, or we also, yeah, but I'm going to just very fast. We don't need to be too fancy. And notice right here, maybe just touch up a little bit later. So I'm going right very fast. Lights will be applied to those ones. Okay, almost done. And we connect it. So now we'll right click and says create vector mask. So we just created vector mask over ours. The nice things about this, we can disconnect right here. If you can see, we have a keychain, so we'll disconnect. In this case, we can move it and rearrange how we want it, what type we want it there be. For example, we can even take something like right here and maybe even put this as a reflection. Okay, but it does not necessarily look reflection because we don't have it also distortion. So what I want to do is go back, select our image that we have it. We'll go to select elliptical marquee tool, and we'll just go select circle around like right here. Okay, as it's circle selected, middle point, it's where they come from. So we'll go filter. Let's go to distortion. And we have a couple things. We can spherize. Let's go click on this one. Bring maybe around 100%. Okay, right there we can, let's zoom out a little bit. And you can see how it does little bit spherize. It's what we wanted. So let's go click OK. And this is distortion start applying. It's what I want. I want to have a little bit of that distortion. You can also apply different zoom, but I think spherize will work a little bit better this way. Okay, so next we want to set this to maybe even soft light, or we can apply overlay depending on which you want it. Notice as we change, we have different colors. Soft light will give it a little bit nicer smooth, but there we add a little bit more reflection to this. Again, in some elements, maybe reflection too much. We can always take our opacity, take a little bit down, just leave it small, more reflection. Like right there. Let's also create additional mask. Now it's a raster mask. And I want to be sure the raster mask is clipped. Black color, 10% soft round. And I'm just slightly reduce right here on the edges because, and maybe around her face. I want her face, don't want to be that red because we'll go retouching. Okay, And let's look on our mask. This is what we have it around, reducing transparency. So again, around her face, just remove it a little bit. But you can see we applied nicely. Same things, if you want, you can apply some color to the back of this. But if you look, let's go out. So in this case, we have a nice reflection, color reflection out to umbrella kind of built in. We have a transparency done. Next, let's go work a little bit more on the reflection and the shadows. And you know what, this still will look a little bit boring, but we will recover this with additional lighting. So we can add some reflective lighting overall. Okay, I think this is good progress, and let's go work more in the next video. Let's go ahead and add some reflections and shadows, so bring our model to the kind of surface. Okay, to do this, we'll just go ahead, take a model that we have already exist right here, drag and drop to new layers, so we'll create new model. Let's go call it reflection. So our model reflection. And maybe, you know, just let's set orange. And I want to bring this all the way down. So it will be on the bottom. Next, we're going to edit, transform, and we're going to flip vertically. We can drag down and just place it around here. So if you notice, we have some does not matching feed. What I'm looking, it's about, let's come closer. Right here you can see, we'll just put it about reflection around this area. Of course, some elements does not matching, and we're going to fix this. So it's meaning we'll go to zoom a little bit out. And while is our reflection model is selected layer, we'll go to edit and we'll use it puppet warp. So this way we can actually adjust some elements. First off, I want to set pin on a toe, pin on this toe. Next, I want to set pin somewhere on the legs so we don't distort too much with the direction. And now we can add additional pin and drag placed right there. We don't need to be 100% exactly. We just need it somewhat simulating this effect. So same on the end, and just drag a little bit here. One more pin. Drag around there. We have it in these shoelaces that we can also bring around the area. That should be enough. So how I said before, we don't need to have it like 100% set to this. Okay, let's adjust just a little bit, maybe around there. But at this point, as a reflection, I want to actually switch the blending mode from normal to, we can play with soft light or overlay. Soft light which should work good, and I'm just comparing with these lights overall. Okay, then next, as we done the reflection, we want to apply a little bit blur to this. So we'll go reflection selected, filter, blur, Gaussian blur. We don't need it too high, but like a little bit, maybe a couple 3 pixels should do softer on the edge. And usually we just look how it's compared because we have it with other one. Okay, next let's go ahead and set our blending maybe a little bit lower, like around here. The problem, what you notice, it is right there we have light that going through the food that not supposed to do. So for this we'll go just above our layer with a reflection, our ground layer. We'll create new one, and we'll go let's go call fill reflection on this one. We'll take stamp tool actually, and let's go zoom now a little bit closer, and we want fix this stamping around this area. So first we'll with edge, and I'm just find some edge maybe around here, select our edge, and you can see edge is not necessarily kind of fit, so maybe select this edge, and we can start doing. Again, it's not necessarily maybe work very well, so let's go try actually using healing brush. So we'll select this one, and we'll try again. Maybe it tries on the side. There you go. And again, it's maybe does not work as well. So let's go back to our stamp tool. Click on our stamp tool. There you go. I think the stamp tool works a little bit better. And I'm just want to place. Okay, let's go from here. Maybe add a little bit stamp around there. We also have this food going more around here, so we'll just add kind of like this way. Okay, a little bit coloring stamp. Again, this is glowing. I don't know how well is glowing going, so we'll just probably need to go in kind of almost cover right there. Okay, I think this is some cover. Don't worry too much about be precise. We just needed to mostly hide effect right there, except we have it bluish, so maybe just a little bit more blue color. Yeah, that one probably work a little bit better. Okay, as well, let's take opacity to 50. And we'll just blend a little bit better this area. Something like that. Okay. So right here you can see we create our reflection, and we also block the light, so it will give it a little bit better perspective on us. As we're below, let's go create a new layer, and we'll call it shadow. Okay, we'll switch to the multiply mode. Multiply mode will allow us to create a darker, but with also casting the color. It's what we want on this case. And of course we'll go select brush. We'll come closer. Let's select somewhere like this darker color, and you can do by hold Alt or Option key. And now we can start painting. Okay, sometimes let's go with 20% opacity. So we'll go a little bit faster. And I want to just paint. This is our shadows. And overall, if you watch previously tutorials from me, I have it defined as shadows like on 3 main shadows we need to create. First, it's what we've done right now. This is soft shadow, hard shadow, and very close up. And they're usually very dark like this. They're very, very close up. So second shadow, it will be soft shadow. Okay, and those ones, same multiply mode. They're a little bit larger area. A little bit more overcasting. Like right there. So just general casting shadows you can see right here. Okay, and now we have a third shadow. So let's go take all these 2 shadows and put the green color on them so we know it's shadows. The next shadow we want to put it above our model, and this is important because we're going to blend to our model. This is our, okay, where's our model? There's our model, and also we have apply on this one. So let's go ahead and take our models. We'll go to group them. Let's go call model on this one. And we want to create renderosity or cast back shadows. So if you look very carefully, the elements cast shadows on environment, but as well our environment casts shadows back on our model. So for this one, we'll go create new layer. So it's called cast back shadow on this. Okay, we'll go to clip this to our model. Again, if you can go just select the clipping. Right now we don't need release. All you hold Alt or Option key. And when you move, you can see this icon appear. So you can clip, unclip them. Okay, next we still have it select our, but only in this case, I want to select maybe a little bit bluish kind of color. Let's go come closer. You'll see what's happening. And now we can switch the mode from normal to multiply. And we'll start adding first on the edge, and you can see how it starts blending those dark areas. I want like 0 brightness, so we can almost add the blend right there. Okay, same, let's go ahead, add to the edge. Okay, let's zoom out, and as we're going, we can increase the blending and cast shadow casting on a lower elements. So we cast a little bit right there. Okay, so right here is our cast back shadows. You can see it's add slightly more blending. So overall, we have shadows before when we apply it, and we add the shadows and a reflection. So now our model a little bit more standing on the ground. So let's go ahead and next work, maybe add some of the water elements or small look like a rain kind of. And also we can start adding coloring from environmental coloring on our model as well. So let's go ahead and add a little bit more to environment. But before we apply our lighting, I want just fixed overall global lighting on this. So before, this is our umbrella. Let's go down below. Here's our profiling. Yeah, let's go before this background blend one. We'll go to create new layer above, and we'll call this environmental dodge and burn. Okay, so as dodge and burn, we'll just go set on a blue color, and we're going to actually edit fill, and we'll fill with 50% gray, normal mode, opacity 100. So it should be all gray color. Next, what we want to do is switch this mode from normal to soft light. This is contrast based mode, so 50% it's invisible. Next, we'll take our tool, the paintbrush. We'll reset this to black color. We want to use it soft round, and we want opacity 10%. So let's run there. And I'm just going to use a dodge and burn technique to darken some elements around. So I want to actually bringing, and again, if you used Vicom, you may do a little bit faster, but I want to actually darken some around her, bring a little bit more depth to our look. Okay, press X, add a little bit more wider around this area, just to kind of focusing on her again. And I'm using X key, it's bind. If you can see, it's changed my foreground background. So in this case, it's nice when you use it dodge and burn techniques. You can use black to darken, and you can use white to bring more light. Okay, let's look what we have right now, and you can see before and after. We just brought a little bit more depth, I think, to this kind of darker environment. Okay, now we'll go all the way up with our model, and our model right here. And what I want to do with this model, so you know what, let's do also move our reflection inside our folder. So right there we have our reflections, and where we have it, our let's take this one as well. We'll move inside. Yeah, we don't want to do this one. Okay, I think this blurring, we actually don't need it by her feet. So like right there, I don't think I need my blurring around here. So we actually can go on a mask, 100%, and we can just remove this a little bit, just to clean up slightly. Okay, here's my model. So inside this model, actually between, we want to create another adjustment layer. But this will be our coloring layer, where we can apply colors to our elements that we want to cast from outside. So I'm going to create a new layer. We'll go color cast, and we can use it the soft light blending mode on this. Now what I need to do is just take colors around me and painting actually on a model. So we'll go have a 10% opacity. Like for example, let's select this yellow color, and we're going, and you can see when I start painting, look right here, I actually start casting those colors on a model. So before and after. This will help us kind of blend a little bit more in her. So we'll say we can take a little bit purplish color, maybe blend a little bit on mask on the top. We have some run, take these ones, blend colors around here. We'll have it bluish, blend slightly on her pants. So we have this coloring going around. We have another blue from this area. Let's blend kind of like on her sleeves, maybe a little bit on her face, right there. Also umbrella. Okay, let's go take warmer color and just blend slightly right around there. Okay, purplish, so we can just add and cyanish, just adding a little bit more coloring to those elements. Okay, zoom out. You can see how we applied. Again, you can add a little bit more even, like to her face maybe. So we have a little bit more saturation on these colors around here. Same we can add around right here. We have a little bit purplish, so let's go put it purple cast on a coat, kind of like behind almost. And glowing, blue little bit on the ends. Okay, let's select this blue brush, and again a little bit reddish, a little bit more on her face. Yellow, just right here maybe. And you can see how it will help us to bring this image a little bit more inside with the overall theme. So it's help us with the coloring. Also, let's go just add a little bit of blue here, a bit warmer color, and we'll just play warmer cold. It worked very well overall if we try to kind of, maybe this one a bit too, so let's go paint a little bit more cyanish maybe on this one, kind of bit darker. There you go. I'm not sure if this is work well. Maybe a little bit too much. So let's go to select white color. We'll just a little bit add whiter. Just remove some of this casting. The mask, again, we can add a little bit more. So let's go ahead, select example, this yellow color. And we'll just add a little bit yellow, like right here. Quite a bit more. Right here, we definitely need to add more yellow. About her arm. Almost like it's glowing. Okay, let's go to select purple. A little bit add purple on this element. And definitely kind of reddish purple top of the mask. Let's go select coloring, and I'll just add a little bit. So in our mask we can see blending a little bit better with our environment. Okay. Of course we will apply more coloring to this, but overall this will help us kind of set up. Her shoes not necessary, so let's go to select some other color. And we'll just start putting on her shoes, same color cast. Her hands need to be a little bit more coloring applied, and overall shoes. There you go. Okay, again, before and after. So we may switch, maybe this one a little bit too cold. Let me just a little bit warm up. There you go. It just look a little bit better, I think, this way. Touch up. Again, if you want it, you always can reduce, increase. We'll go create one more, and this is multiply. Okay, so here's things. So the soft light give us coloring in like both areas. So we can always go switch to the screen, and you can see what's going on with the screen lighting. Okay. Multiply, give it more to shadowing elements. So let me see right here. Color cast soft light. So this one will go with multiply. And we'll do same things, it will add darker. So let's go as example. Let's take this red example. Watch what's happening. It's much stronger as a shadowing going. So we let's undo that stuff. Okay, and we'll go to, let me see all my undo. I want to be sure my undoes is done all the way. So I'm going to select maybe something warmer color, and with this I can add a little bit stronger some elements in her shadowing. But at the same time I can take other blue, and you can see it's much stronger, and usually I will do those just in elements with more shadow going, not on highlights. Now again, 10%, you can do even less than that. But overall, I want to just add a little bit like this. Okay. I'll stick on the umbrella. Okay, so if we look on assumption, we have it cold going from the one side and warm from another. So right here actually should be a little bit warm color. So we can take color, a little bit warmer, and we can just a little bit add to this side right here. kind of. We'll select this color and add a little bit to this side. Okay, so same like right here, maybe darker on a side. Select a bit reddish color, maybe add element. Also with the mask, you can notice if we start doing this, it's much stronger coloring will going. But the best if you combine them together, because one give it one color, another give it a little bit different. But overall, let's look what we have. So we have the before coloring, and now with the coloring, it's kind of give it this theme and atmosphere this holding inside. So let's go work on some maybe raindrops in the next one. For the next effect, we're going to use brushes. This is custom brushes that's selected, and usually I purchase the brushes on a DAZ 3D from Disney. It's around brushes. Currently, I'm going to use like this rain and water effect brush, which coming with a very nice preset. So we'll go in those ones. You don't necessarily need to use this. You can create your own brush if you want it, or find free online. And I'm not sponsored by this one, so actually I'm going and purchase. What I do, I sometimes look when they have it on sales and purchase them. You can buy for about 50% off or some other areas. But this is what I find from this specific developer. They're very high quality brushes for Photoshop, and definitely, at least for me, they're worth it to use them. So to do this, we're actually going to apply those brushes on our environment. And we can start by creating first layer. Let's call it rain. We'll right click, and as you install brush right here, we have it runs rain effect, and you can see we have all these different splashes. They also come up with some overlays and paddles, so we can look on all of them. So let's go expand all of them. And paddles, what I need to look at is something with the distance, so we can create coming from the one area and expand it. So let's go just select one, like paddles. Okay, and when we select what we want to do, is be sure with white, and I want to be sure it's 100% opacity. So we'll go right here and set 100%. So if we click, you can see we have some. Let's redo this and just increase size as a test, like around here. And if we click, you can see we have it all of this, but it's maybe a little bit too much of the paddles, and mostly right here at the beginning. With some of those paddles, you can experiment, and other ones you can go online and preview like what they have, so we can see what kind of raindrops. So this way we can go back to our paddles and preview on some of them. Some of them, like this one, we probably won't use it because it is too much rain and a close up going. We want to create something that little bit more far away and spread on those paddles. So probably around these paddles will work better. Again, we can just a little bit increase, and you can press once, twice. So we kind of increase a little bit size because we're a little bit closer, creating those paddles. I think like this should work a little bit better, and we can also do this just a little bit, few of them on the back. Okay. Oops, I'm smudge those ones like this. Of course, now they're going to our model. We need to rework on this, but before we done this, let's work a little bit with opacity. Couple blending modes I do like if we're using soft light, because it will add some effect, but not too much, but you can go over all of them. Screen and lighting will work very well, but it does have just what we have, the white color. So if we use those ones, we want probably take a little bit down. Just overall add maybe around here. Okay, or we can always go with a soft light or overlay. So let's go look on a soft light, And soft light, you hardly can see them. Right there, they're blending too much in our environment. So let's go back to screen and just add a little bit on opacity, like around here. Okay, so this is our one rain. Remember, we always can take this rain and just put it under shadows. So when we do this, just kind of add to the back. We do have a problem with the background, and I'll show you how to resolve this in a second if it's going too bright. Okay, so let's go create a new layer. Let's go call this rain 2. Okay, and for this one we could take different one and see what other puddles we have as well. So this is maybe a little bit too much. Okay, we want to have it some closer. This is not bad. This one's close up a little bit. Okay, I think this will work a little bit better. So we can do, just take these petals. Okay, let's go to make them a little bit smaller. I don't want too big. We can add a few of them right here. Let's select different. We want, okay, right there. I think this one was another one petals. Yep. Okay, so we can add a little bit right around there. Now, I think it should be around here, and we'll just add a smaller on the back. So just overall you can see what we kind of try to add them. Okay, again, we'll go to the screen mode. We can just add slightly around here. Okay, I told you about those on the back, and you can see how they're affecting. So we want a little bit fix them. First, we're going to edit, transform, and we'll go to distort. Actually, not on this one. Sorry, I need to select my first rain. Edit, transform, distort. This is our one, and we could actually take just a little bit, kind of almost bring this inside, so a little bit distortion. This is give it our little bit perspective. Okay, it's one-way adjustment. Okay, next what we're going, it's create a mask for this. We'll take brush, and we want for this, of course, soft brush that we can have it. Okay, let's go just scroll up. So we have a soft round. Black, we want to have a 10%. And we'll just start painting the mask on a back till those guys blending in, because we don't want them strong on the back, but we kind of can blend in. We can always press on a mask and just, go through the mask. You can also use a gradient tool if you want it. Usually I don't like necessarily use a gradient tool because I want a little bit more control over how it's going. So right there, I go just a little bit, add this effect. Okay, this is one. Now we need add rain. So let's go back on top, create new. Let's go rain down, and you know what, for this one I'm going to set red because they imported, but you can set whatever. Again, coloring is all optional. This is just for me to help very fast recognize when I use the brushes, when I use different things. Okay, and here we can go and again go back to, and we can see our rains, what else we have from those. So we have it all rain falling down, mist. So right here we have it rain down. So let's click on this preview. Okay, and if we click, okay, let's go again 0%, 100%. So we can see we have it nice kind of rain going. Okay, let's go undo this. We'll go back. Let's look on the different rains. We have it more different rain down going. The nice also things about this pack, it's come with overlays. And we can pull out those overlays. Overall, it's just another image that we can put it over. But right here, we can also, I think this may actually work a little bit nicer. So let me go see. Okay, this is about maximum size. And this is about large we can have it. Okay, so let's go see what else we have. Yeah, I like this one probably better. This rain. So it's a maximum size, and we'll need to blend this. So what are we going to do? Just click on a few elements, like right around here. And we'll go to switch soft light. It will add small, you can see drippings, kind of very gentle. But it's add this kind of nice effect. Okay, we can play a little bit more with rain. We can add more. I don't necessarily want to add too much to that area. However, what I want to do is maybe add a few more drops. Let's create new layer. Z. Okay, let's reduce size of our brush. Here we can add a few more drops, kind of almost on a layer. We'll go to select. We have its splashes, ray down, like this. Okay. Let's set this one. We can add kind of like some drippings from this, but we can use different brushes for this. Again, I don't necessarily want to overlay too much. Okay, but raindrops, let's call this way. Okay, but I think that one already add kind of effect. The next bag for the rain, it's still a bit too clear. So what we want to do is go on a bag like about from the shadows up, and we want to add fog. So fog is still same brushes we'll go to use. Okay, and again we'll go enable. Let's go to collapse our rain, we don't need it. Okay, and we'll go to select fog. We can have a different type of fogs. Again, I'm just going to select one, set larger, 100%. And I'm just adding a little bit right on the back, just behind her. And you can see it just will bring a little bit out. Okay, let's go switch a different brush. We want to switch sometimes more often. Like right here. Also, to blend well, we kind of want to actually bring fog up front as well. So we'll have another fog. Okay, and in this case, we can use a different type. For example, let's use it maybe around this one. Fog will work good. Okay, so you can see I can bring just a little bit, maybe around here. Use a different type, but this will help us slightly blend together. It's almost like fog going over. We don't need to put it too much because I want still to have it cleared, but overall we add fog. Again, use the blending mode or opacity on your mode to set how much you think you want it for your fog, background and foreground. Then also, if you wanted, you can add soft light. Switch blending mode to soft light, which will just add even better blending in some cases. And probably what we'll do with the soft light here. And let's go switch this to soft light as well. Just increase. Just overall a little bit more blending going on. Okay, so I think this is good with the fog. Let's do some little bit more blending together those images now. We're done with the global dodge and burn kind of elements. So now to overall, but now I want to take all image that we created and create a dodge and burn based on this, so it will bring a little bit more even dimensions out. So for this, we'll use Control Shift Alt E, Command Option Alt E as we're creating. Click OK, and it will take all visible layers, merge them together, and create new layer from that. So this is what we're going to do. Okay, we'll switch our color, and let's go global dodge and burn. This one set. Okay, so I think it was blue color I'm using for this. Okay, next, as selected, we'll go Image, Adjustment, Black and White. And in black and white, because we're going to use a soft light blending, it's been 50% gray. So for me, 50%, it is a neutral. Whatever is darker, get it quite a bit dark. Whatever is brighter, we're getting brighter. So I want to bring a little bit brighter on her skin. I also will look which darker blues maybe. Okay, some maybe bring, yeah, let's around here. Okay, we'll go click OK. We'll go to Image, Adjustment. We'll go now to Shadow Highlights. And if you like in this mode, click on Show More Options. Next, we'll set our radius to 10 pixels on both of them. Amount, 100% shadows, 100% highlights. And we'll take tone and bring it slightly down. I want just a little bit darker. And same, I'll bring a little bit brighter on whites. So we'll click OK. Next, actually, I want to go Filter, Sharpen, and we'll click Unsharp Mask. With the Unsharp Mask, I want to bring sharpness a little bit higher. So about 100, around there. Click OK. And switch this from normal mode to soft light mode. Okay, if you notice what's happening, we add quite a bit of this green details. We lost some in the black, so we don't want that hard. We can take all the way to 0 and just slightly add as soon when we feel it's added. Sometimes just a little bit, but it's nice to have it. So if you want to add background, we can add mask and apply maybe this effect better to some other ones, like maybe on the background, we'll see. But I think a little bit for about right. Okay, here's one, but now I want to apply a little bit more on a glowing effect here. So to do this, we'll same Control Shift Alt E to create all of them. And this effect will create this kind of interesting glowing atmosphere. So we create this layer. Now we'll go Filter, Blur, and we're going using Gaussian blur for this. Let's pop up maybe a little bit like around 4 or 5. Again, the blurring, it will depend on the resolution of your image. But overall, what is goal for me, maybe 5 pixels, it will create this glowing effect. So after we're done with this, we can switch this to maybe soft light. Notice how much we change now. It's add nice saturated color to this. Again, this is too bright for me. I'll hold down Alt key, Option key, and click on a mask. It will create a black mask, so hiding everything. We'll have our brush selected, soft round, set opacity 10%, and we can start painting in some of those glow elements. Mostly I want to paint them around neon lights, some way around lighting. Okay, actually it does help when we switch to the white. Okay, so right there, like if you see on the lights how they start a little bit more glowing in. maybe around this area. Let's go closer. Add somewhere around here. You can see it's kind of add a little bit this glowing effect to that. Okay. And of course I want to add a little bit more on the ground. Create overall darker glowing effect. We can also create same one and switch to the screen mode, which is also will create element glowing, but we want to do it only around the windows. But I think for now the soft light should work very well. Let's give it us nice saturations and options. So the next, let's go add some more blending together. An interesting way, if you just create a new layer, let's call it sand, actually, noise, to be a little bit more precise. We'll go to fill this with 50% gray, okay, and we'll go to filter, noise, and we'll add noise. So I want to add noise maybe about 25 for this size of image and convert this to the soft light. Okay, let's look closer, see what's happening. So notice this edge right here. Now with the noise before and after, it does add this kind of distortion, but it's also help us to blend. I don't want to lose too much detail, so I will bring slightly up. Maybe around this area, like 50, 59. That should provide good blending for the edges for us. Okay, let's go next. I want to add now a little bit more on the coloring. We start working with this. So for this, we'll go to create new selective colors. Okay, and with selective colors, we start with a black and white. So black color. And you can see how we can modify. So I want to take just a little bit wash out black. And here's our darker. So we'll take black a little bit more to the blue color. And if you notice the yellow, it's mean yellow blue. So it's opposite color. If I go on -3 in yellow, it's mean I'm going towards more blue. So you can see right here, like on a black, we apply more to the blue. Okay. So let's go look what we have. A little bit right there. This is with our green. We have it purple or magenta or green. So, and I'm going a little bit on the green side. And we have it our cyan or red. So cyan this way, red a little bit out. So, you know, we'll just bring a little bit on cyan color. Right there. Okay, let's go next. Select neutral. And here's our neutral colors. So same, I want a little bit flatten on the neutral. But with the coloring, I actually opposite. I want a little bit play. So right here, see what you like it. If you want to go more purplish or other color, I think I'm going a little bit more warmer for this, like neutrals. Same, and we'll go a little bit more purplish. And as well, we have it. You can see we got all the way cyanish, but I think if we're going reddish, we can play with our purple blue colors. Okay, let's go with the whites. We won't see so much different on the whites, except you can see some highlights, and it's what we'll bring. We'll bring like almost overblowing highlights in. Okay, and the same we'll bring to yellow a little bit, some warmer on them, and playing with those colors. Overall, we want kind of adjust, and you can see how we done with our colors. So it's create this kind of nice atmosphere. Okay, we also can go around and play a little bit more with different colors like magenta. We can bring them up a little bit or down on the coloring. A little bit more in red. Cyanish. Okay, a little bit that way. Let's go to yellow as well. Yellow maybe a little bit darker, so we can bring saturation a little bit more on the yellow colors. Okay, leave it adjustment. And right here we have our color overlay. Okay, so let's go ahead, create a new curve layer. This will be our color layer. So we will apply several different type of the color adjustments to this. So we'll switch this from normal mode to the color mode. We'll go to the blue channel, take blue, bring a little bit up, middle point, select and drag down. So we'll add this. You can see kind of almost like yellowishy look to our saturation. Okay, let's go now to the red. In red, we can bring a little bit colder and bring red a little bit up, just slightly. Again, right there. So you can see how we introduce quite a bit interesting colors palette, playing with between cold, warm, complementary colors that we're going to do. Okay, I don't think on a green we need to do with magenta or any other ones, except if you prefer, you can play a little bit more with a different, maybe just drop slightly on the middle with magenta. Okay, and right here, our additional coloring. So it's a layer on the layers with the colors. So let's go now create new curve, and this will be our luminosity. I'm not sure if I'm going to use, I just like to create these adjustments layers, because they do help a little bit to work with the coloring and other elements. So with our luminosity, we can affect overall saturation, overall brightness without affecting saturation. So for example, we can take a little bit from low so we don't have crush black. And we can also don't want it bright, so let's bring like maybe around here. Just slightly adjustment lower, okay? Maybe around there. Again, luminosity is not necessary, it just helps us limit. I don't know if I like flatten, but we can use again that way. Okay, next actually what I'm going to do, oops, I don't need to do this. I want to create a black and white. So with black and white, it will help me to bring a little bit more of the depth if I want it on a contrast luminosity. So I'm going to see bring a little bit black and yellow down. I'm looking on her face usually. Okay, we can work a little bit more depth on these channels, a little bit darker. Okay, a little bit bright and green. Overall magenta if we want to bring kind of maybe around here. And now we can take to 0, and if you start bringing up, you can see how we can control some of those brightness. I'm not necessarily like this, I probably will just turn it off, but just want to show you that we can create very nice desaturation colors to apply to this. And of course, if you take and put this below your adjustment layers, so your coloring will affect quite a bit. So you can see you still have this coloring going, but now it's a muted, a little bit more pastel, darker kind of color. So it may work in other cases. Okay, so I will turn it off for now because I want to have the brightness in. Instead, I actually am going to create vibrance, and I want to bring even more vibrant color. So I can bring even my saturations in vibrance. I can play with this. So we'll set saturation to 0. And we'll just bring a little bit vibrance up, maybe about 5.4. Just add a little bit more color punchiness. Okay, last step. Let's go ahead, create new curve. And I call this vignetting. Okay, and we're going on a vignetting, take handle on our curve, bring all the way down. So now it's all black. Select rectangle marquee tool. And go select from one corner almost to one. If you see, I have it a little bit off. Okay, and then next we'll go to fill up this with a black color. So we have it only white frame around. if we look on a mask, you can see this is our mask, white frame and black on the middle. So now we're going back to our curve. We'll select, get right here. Oops, on our mask, sorry, you select mask, select, and we'll go feathering, and we'll just start feathering. Look what's happening. We are now applying more vignetting, like focusing more on our model. And best way is to work with a soft light, because it's work very nice with coloring. So this is not that much, but it does bring a little bit more attention to our model to the center. Okay, you know what, I look and I really don't like how she is blending too much. So let's go back to our fog around here. Let's create secondary fog. Glow fog, let me call this way. Okay, we'll go to red. We'll set to screen mode. Let's take brush. Select maybe some fog like this one. Okay, go 0. Yeah, I think that one will work a little bit better. Different fog. Yeah, there you go. So all what I want to do is actually add behind her. So we'll just drag all the way down below, put behind her. Now just add kind of a little bit more fog behind her, so because I want her to stand a little bit more out. So we'll just go maybe like that right there. There you go. Okay, so let's go ahead and take this slightly down. But I think that way we can actually bring a little bit more out. I think she was too blend in. That way she stand a little bit out, a little bit nicer. Okay, let's go back to our selective color. And I'm going to work a little bit more with neutrals. Let's see. Yeah, we'll bring neutrals so maybe a little bit up, a little bit more on this one. Yeah, bring yellowish warmer. And again, the nice things about this, it's all non-destructive. So you can always come back and rework a little bit more if you feel the colors not necessarily work. Okay, so right here. And yeah, vibrance, we enable all this. I think that is come up very good. Let me check one more time on the noise. So we'll go right in here, and yeah, I think noise a little bit less around here. Okay, so we'll do this. Let's zoom out. Okay, I think it's almost done. All what you need to do, be sure just type your name. And in some cases, when you type name, you can just put it on the bottom, or you can hide somewhere, like maybe print on a wall. But for now, I'll just put it on the side. Let me bring all the way up and just slightly blend. I don't really kind of put my name too much bright, because from my experience, I can easily remove any name if needed in Photoshop, so it's pointless to copyright in some case. Instead, if you put it all away, but you still can retouch. This is mostly just to let people know who did this art, and if they have a question, they can always come back and we can work around that. Now also, right on the back, maybe it's a little bit too sharp, we can remove it, but again, it does match with what we done with sharpness original on our model. And I think this image kind of come up more cyberpunk, and hopefully you like it. Again, if you like this video, Be sure to subscribe on YouTube channel so you have notification when new videos is released. Also, your support on Patreon is great appreciated. It's helped me to create new videos to share with you. Thank you for watching this.